Well, we're picking up again with the scales and gauges, and we're still on the HO narrow gauges, but we're finishing up the HO narrow gauges. So this week we're looking at HO9, HOn2.5, HOn30, and HOe.
Oh boy, is that like 4 gauges?
No, it's all same thing.
Okay.
It's just a way of saying the same thing in 4 different ways. But it all means running in HO scale, but on N gauge track, 9mm track in HO scale.
Okay.
But I wanted to touch on something in O scale. We did O scale before, but a few people will do this in O scale, use 9mm N gauge track on their O scale railroads to create an 18-inch mine train.
Well, yeah, and I don't even know about that, but I like the mine.
And it doesn't actually scale out to exactly 18 inches. It scales out to 17.01 inches, but close enough.
Okay.
You remember this?
Yes, I wanted that mine so bad.
Oh, this was the mine, the underground mine that Steve built on his O-scale railroad. He had this scale here, HOn30. He also had HOn3. He had HOn18 in that subterranean mine. And he also had some HOn18 in various other places around the room.
Well, for me, it was just OMG because I really thought it was cool.
It was one of the most amazing railroads. But if you got your nose down in there and started looking around, like right here, you'd see these little 18-inch gauge mine trams all over the place.
And I did have my nose in there on many occasion.
Okay, back to HO scale, which is really the topic for today. HOe.
Oh.
E is the same as like in OE when we talked about the scale and gauge combination called O with the small e. It means European. And the Europeans tend to cheat because they have so many different narrow gauges that they just lump them all into one big category and throw an E at it.
Not like the little workers, it goes E-I-E-I-O.
Yeah. Anyway, HOE represents all of these different gauges from 600mm to 850mm prototypes. And it's often used to represent the German 750mm prototypes. It's wrong for all of those, but it's close, and close is good enough.
I hope so.
So we had a guy explain the whole situation to us at the narrow gauge convention a couple years ago.
So that's HOE.
Yeah.
The other thing here is, mostly on the German and Austrian, when they bring the HO car, they put it on little dollies and then they put it on the dollies so they don't have to transfer the load. It doesn't run. It runs always. Middle of the summer. No, it doesn't.
So I think that's absolutely fascinating that instead of using dual gauge track, they roll the larger train on top of a smaller train.
Oh boy.
And for some reason it doesn't tip over. But they'll take the little narrow gauge train and have these little dollies, and then the standard gauge trains roll on top of the dollies and the whole thing goes down the narrow gauge track. I don't know why it doesn't just tip over.
Me either.
So here's a little train set that I bought years and years and years and years ago. It was made by Rocco, and this is that scale and gauge combination. It's an HO scale train set designed to run on N gauge track. And as a matter of fact, the track that it comes with is just N gauge track.
Oh, neat.
Regular, but normally you'd run N scale trains on. But there's the train set. I bought 2 of these little train sets. They also offered a steam set, which I was never able to find. But I bought 2 of these, and then I put a little 2.5-foot gauge railroad on my HO railroad.
Oh, cool.
A little mine tram.
Nice.
And it was really fun. And I bought these from Lenny for $6.66.
Oh.
That's good.
Yeah. The devil made you do
The
it.
devil made me do it. I had to buy it. Notice the retail price was $10.98. It's kind of smeared out there, so they weren't terribly expensive. But they offered a whole bunch of different little products by Rocco mini trains, and I just fell in love with it and thought this was the most fun. And it was very affordable.
Yes. I wonder if you could find one today.
Well, they pop up on eBay all the time. It's just that the price has gone up a bit.
Oh,
Here's one.
little.
It's 13 bids, so everybody wants to grab these things. $41 plus $16.90 shipping, and it's still got a day and a half to go.
Oh boy.
I've seen these things go for a couple $100.
Oh, yeah, easy.
Yeah, it's just because people want them. Mm-hmm. And check this out. Rocco is still making mini trains. Here's one of their most recent offerings in 009, because they're not treating it as HO, but rather 00. Look at the price.
What?
Yeah, $300 with $25 shipping.
Ouch.
It's a cute little engine, but
Oh, yeah.
like I say, the price has gone up.
A little bit.
A little bit. And here they're calling it HOe as well as 009. Same thing, just different ways of expressing the same exact thing.
009, huh?
009, license to railroad.
Oh. I get it.
Anyway, back to these sets that I bought. I fell in love with them so much. What I did is I tore the mechanism out and I redid that as a 6-wheel mechanism instead of a 4-wheel mechanism. Made them run much better. And I also ran them on a more prototypical track.
Oh.
Now, again, these sets came with just regular in-scale track, which looks kind of silly. That switch is more appropriate for a narrow gauge. It has a wider tie, a heavier tie. And these are made by Shinahara. And Kato also makes an appropriate HO, N2.5, HOe, whatever you want to call it. But I bought Shinahara track and I ran Shinahara on my railroad because it just looks so much better.
It actually does.
Yeah, that looks like an appropriate little mine tram switch. There are times when I sort of regret putting 6-wheel mechanisms under these just because, when they were original, but what the heck, they ran so much better, and I think that looks just fine.
Yeah, I think so.
So I was happy with it, but I think it kind of spoiled the resale value, probably. But there's one of my mine trains right there, and I started just grabbing up any rolling stock I could get a hold of. I had these 2 little sets, but as you went to the hobby shops and whatnot, they did have some little accessory cars that you could buy, more than just the ones that came with them. And then, of course, I had to weather and put loads in them and that sort of thing. So I think that looks pretty nice.
It does. So what did you use in there, and what are you mining?
Well, normally, of course, I'd use real coal, but I used Woodland Scenic's black ballast. And I don't know what I was mining. Mining my own business.
Yeah,
I don't know what I was doing.
Something like that.
But I liked the look.
Yeah, it's
And,
all right.
and like the look counts for everything.
There you go.
But look how many cars I bought over the years. I had quite a little railroad running on my mine tram.
Yes.
Okay, enter Flying Zoo.
A what?
What? Flying Zoo. Joe Works of Japan and Rio Grande Mini Land, but they originally called the line Flying Zoo.
A flying zoo.
A flying zoo.
Okay.
I have no idea why, but I loved it.
I could say something, but I'm going to read it.
But they were brass kits. And so you'd get sent brass castings and sheets of brass that was all photo etched, and you'd fold the whole thing up and you'd put these things together. They had a bunch of different locomotives and cars, and I just really loved building them.
That looks like fun.
It was a lot of fun. They were sort of caricatures of Colorado.
Oh.
you know, Colorado narrow gauge.
Right.
So Masons and Forneys and Colorado and Southern and so on. But they weren't really following any kind of prototype. They were just caricatures of the real engines.
Well, they're cute.
Oh, they're adorable. Now, notice I paid $50 for this kit for the 260. Adjusting that for inflation makes it $117 today.
Okay.
So not
bad.
terrible for a brass kit.
No.
And then here's the assembly instructions that came with it. This was a rotary snowplow. Same thing. And I was going to make modifications to this and actually never finished it. And then you can see that I used acid solder on these.
Oh, and it's...
But I don't really want to clean them up or anything. I kind of like them just like they are.
Yeah, just leave them like that.
And then Joe Works started offering ready-to-run brass locomotives.
Oh, neat.
Is that thing cool?
Oh, that's stinking cute.
Kind of a little freelance T-boiler shay in 2.5 foot gauge. $145, and that adjusted for inflation is $330 today.
Okay.
So not cheap, but not terribly expensive, and they just ran like a little Swiss watch.
Nice.
But look at the cool train.
Oh, yeah, that's really neat, really.
So I had more fun with this than I did with my mine tram. Well, anyway, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe. And if you really want to help us out, you could join and become a member. Costs like $5. But if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, because that really helps out too. And the easy way to subscribe is with the upcoming blue button. Well, we're not sure how you found this video on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring, and we will see you here on Sunday with some Sunday foolishness. Bye-bye.
Bye.